Hola señores, aquí es sopapoman y estamos en The Beginner's Guide, un juego que pues ha recibido un montón de críticas de que es un juego bastante bueno. Es del mismo que creo de Stanley Parable, por cierto. Así que he decidido que vamos a hacer una walkthrough sobre esto. Es un juego bastante cortito, es indie, por cierto, y cuesta 8 euros en Steam, lo que me he gastado para comprarme este juego. Pero bueno, ya sé que dije en el vídeo del blog número 12, creo que era, que no subiría más walkthroughs y todo esto, pero quería hacer una separación entre Portal Stories Mail y el siguiente portal que subiré. Por lo tanto, pues he decidido comprármelo y a ver qué tal. Yo os digo, no esperéis ahí un montón de disparos o acción o lo que sea. Básicamente es un simulador de andar y probablemente te dé algunos sentimientillos. Así que vamos allá con The Feels. El sonido está activado, tranquilo, te lo prometo, Control SD y clic. O vale.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide.
De nada.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Vale.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named CODA. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met CODA in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
Mola.
And mostly it's just CODA learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of CODA's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Why?
So, it's 2008, CODA starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to CODA. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at CODA's first proper game.
Vale.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Guay. Vale, pues aquí estamos. A ver, ¿quién es Guide? Vamos a ver qué es esto. Muy bien. Aviso, máquina de susurros activado. Evacuación inmediata. Máquina de susurros.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from CODA.
Se nota. Los subtítulos están en inglés. Ahí está en castellano, por suerte. Ya le enviaré un mensaje por Twitter o quien sea. Oh. Wow, el arma no tiene ni sonido. Y son partículas de lo más cutre que he visto en mi vida. Pero mola. Ya enviaré un mensaje a quien te lo hizo por decir gracias por hacer esto. Así enviaré esta parte del vídeo y le diré gracias. Wow, ostras, cuidado que me matan,
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
No,
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
No, estáis disparando
You can't even
enemigos.
reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Ah.
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe CODA thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Vale. No recargo. O sea, ahora mismo estoy pulsando la R y clic, pero...
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Pues mola. De momento está bien. De momento... Yo os digo, es un juego que... O sea, no os esperéis que será un juego con historia. O sea, es algo que... Según he oído...
Apparently the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, vale, guay, gracias. O sea, es algo que según he leído, cambiará
This is the part that's interesting. The
tu
game has this
reflexión sobre
narrative
los
about the
videojuegos.
whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Vale. ¿Y esto?
Hey, you there, in the engine room.
Sí.
You could save us all.
Pues vale, ¿qué?
That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
Pues vale.
Your body could stop the beam.
O sea, dice que me mate.
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Después de que me muera, ¿cuánto me vas a pagar? O sea, que creo que me he dejado el horno encendido y... o sea, tengo prisa. Si no muero rápido, o sea, si antes de morir tengo que saber qué me das para después llevarlo al banco. Narrador, que te den un poco. Estoy intentando negociar con la persona a la que quiere que me muera. ¿Sabes qué? Olvídalo, lo hago gratis. Wow.
Let me pause here for a second.
Vale.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what CODA had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
A lo mejor no sé. Digo yo, ¿no tendría que haber una animación cuando mueres? Es como en Padre de Familia, que estará aquí tan tranquilo, te mueres o te quedas en un momento, ¡pum! No hay ni animación, o sea, te desplomas directamente. A ver. Muy bien.
The beam causes you to start floating.
¡Oh, en serio!
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but CODA identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
Vale, me habían llamado por teléfono.
This
Prosigamos.
floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Vale. ¡Minecraft! Vale. No he dicho nada. Wow.
Yep. In this game you can only walk backwards.
¿Qué dices? El pasado estaba detrás de ella. ¿Detrás de quién? Pues nada. Voy a ser feliz andando hacia atrás, creo. Oh, mirando, estoy andando hacia atrás.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
10 de 10, 10 de 10, IGN, bravo,
rather than simply
ni Call of
basing
Duty.
it on a pre-existing trope.
Porque el futuro no deja de cambiar. Técnicamente, porque al hacer un simple movimiento como mover el dedo 1 milímetro cambiaría toda la historia de la humanidad. Eso en el caso de que estuviéramos en la prehistoria. Cuando se detiene y mira, todo está... claro. Vale. Guay. Pero... si el futuro siempre está detrás de ella... ¿cómo encontrar la fuerza? Para enfrentarse al...
Short
¡Wow!
little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
Muy bien.
Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Vale. ¿Puedo mover hacia adelante? Sí, perfecto. Y esto es Slenderman, aunque solo se renderice esta parte de delante y ella muros invisibles por aquí. Juegazo. Ahora estás entrando... no, creo que la firma. Voy a leerlo esto con la voz así interesante. Ahora estás entrando.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Muy bien.
Oftentimes, CODA would
Tonterías en
put
casi todas las
bizarre titles
direcciones.
like this one at the start of his games.
Wow.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he
Escalera
stopped
Simulator.
work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Subir esta escalera. Es escalera Simulator, lo tengo que hacer. ¿Por qué voy lento? No vayas lento. Sube.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if CODA's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Anda. Mola. O sea, en teoría tienes que pulsar todos los botones del teclado así antes de que puedas caminar rápido. Menudo trozo. Wow, más notas. Vas andando y hablando con la gente mientras persiguen sus sueños y deseos. Una llave en un juego desbloquea una puerta en un juego completamente separado. ¡Oh, Dios!
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas.
Me encanta esta idea. Te colocas a un X mirando a un oso durante 3 horas. Juegazo. Yo lo veo mejor que The Last of Us, sinceramente.
CODA would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Este juego no es más que bloques gigantes de texto explicando lo que ocurre. Mola. Preparados, listos a pescar. Wow. Interesante. Me encanta la narrativa de este juego. No, pero de momento me está sorprendiendo porque es algo que no esperaba.
Well, this is new for CODA. It's an actual puzzle.
Wow.
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Soy listo. ¿Dónde está mi premio Nobel? ¿Puedo abrirlo? ¿O es más que esto? Cuando se cierra esta se abre. Oh.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Oh.
We're going to see it a lot.
Hace una cara que está haciendo... Oh, porque acabo de resolver el acertijo. Vale.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
¡Wow! Alicia en el País de las Maravillas.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
Pues sí.
I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Interesante. Otra vez aquí. Estás entrando. Ahora estás saliendo.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that CODA believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Oh. El gran y encantador descenso. Vale.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, CODA is using an engine called Source.
Ah,
like all
vale,
engines,
please.
Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of CODA's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in CODA's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Whoa. Wow, wow. Esto no me lo esperaba. Y de hecho, como no me lo esperaba, creo que aquí vamos a dejar el episodio de hoy. Hemos empezado en noviembre de 2008, si no me equivoco. Ahora estamos en capítulo 7, ¿ya? Estamos en marzo de 2009. Pero bueno, como digo siempre, podéis suscribiros y darle like, que me ayudaréis un montón. Podéis seguirme en Facebook, darle like, Snapchat, Google, incluso entrar en Instagram, Twitter, yo soy no me acuerdo. Nos vemos en el siguiente vídeo. ¡Hasta luego, señores!